Hey y'all, welcome back to another video. I suck at keeping a consistent uploading schedule, I know, but now that I'm actually back to square one and being stuck at the house again, I figured this would be a good time killer, or at least whenever I feel motivated to do anything at home. Anyways, today's video is going to be part of the Storytime series once again. In this story, I'm going to be talking about working at a job that was pretty hectic, my dad coming in clutch with reliable transportation, and how a series of events such as stealing food, crushing my nose, and puking at work essentially cost me my job. To be honest, the entire situation was pretty stupid, especially because now I'm right back to not really having anything to support myself. All I can really do is laugh at the past, keep looking for more jobs, and try to save money without blowing it on weed or food. Before we get into this video, please make sure to give this video a like, subscribe if you're new to my content, share this video to anybody that's ever got flipped off for stealing food. I suck at work. Once upon a time, I was chilling at home, literally doing the same thing I'm doing now, making videos and tolerating my parents' bullshit. I was still waiting for an opportunity to get me out of the house for any reason besides hanging out. It was around mid or late April, just earlier this year. I had already been pretty much living like a bum for over 4 months at the time, going through several nicotine withdrawals and anxiety attacks. I just barely had motivation to even do anything about it after getting into a whole bunch of shitty situations. I was even convinced that I'd be kicked out on my birthday, having this bad reputation of being dependent on all of my friends and using them for drugs and a place to stay and not being able to do shit. Then out of nowhere, my dad calls me to check up on me and I tell him about my living situation and how it was for the longest time. He then talks to me about how he wants to help me move out of my mom's basement so he won't have to pay so much for child support. I don't really know how that shit works, but I was more than happy to take that offer from him. I didn't care if he was gone from my life for 7 years. He referred me to this job that one of his buddies owned. I told him that my Buick got impounded back in January and later destroyed in March because it was left there for so long and I couldn't afford to get it out, and I haven't had my own transportation in months. He then tells me that he has an extra truck that I could borrow for the duration of the job, which was supposed to be the entire summer. I would ultimately accept the offer and follow up on the job. About a week later, my dad picked me up from my house to go to the job interview. It's a warehouse company where they manage pre-made asphalt. You fill it in semi-truck tanks in the homemade drive-through for other companies to use. I went to that interview and got hired on the spot. My dad brought me back and gave me the truck a few weeks later. The next day after I got the truck, I would start my first day at work. As I started the job in the middle of May, I was working about 20 hours a week, Tuesdays through Fridays. They wanted me to start hauling ass with 35 to 40 hours, but thanks to quarantine and online school, it was an excuse to keep myself from immediately working so long there at first. But at the end of the month, my boss started scheduling me for Saturday mornings. He told me that it's usually just him in the shop on Saturday mornings and that he would like me to take over for him after giving proper training, of course, so he can go out of town with his family to go fishing or some shit. But I took that offer along with the original extension of my hours, and eventually I started coming into the shop to serve customers every Saturday morning starting at 6:45 a.m. all by myself. It was actually pretty cool because the shop would get like 5 or 6 customers at most on each Saturday morning, and I was by myself, so I could essentially spend most of the shift doing a lot of things I can't do with other coworkers around, like smoking weed, blasting music, and basically chilling at the front desk, and still get the job done for the day. It was pretty cool while it lasted, but after over a month into working there, I started getting into some sticky situations at work that would piss off the workers, my boss, and my dad. So one Saturday morning in late June, I woke up and I debated on whether I should bring lunch into work or not, but I decided not to because I didn't think I was going to be hungry between 7 and noon. I guess that's what happens when you're sleep deprived. I regretted making that decision the moment I clocked in because my stomach started growling and I didn't eat breakfast that day, so I went into the fridge that was at work to see if there was anything for me to eat. I saw a plastic bag with some snacks and figured that somebody must have brought them for everyone, considering they're the same snacks that were brought in for everyone the previous day. Plus, the people that work there are usually generous as fuck. There's been a time where one of the bosses went to Raising Cane's and spent like $70 for the whole crew just for working. So I took the food from the fridge and ate it. I wasn't hungry for the rest of my shift after serving my last customer, and once noon hit, I closed shop and I went home. 3 days later, I came into my shift at work and I already noticed that there were some coworkers looking at me funny. So immediately I start to think that my boss done found the footage of me fucking around at work, smoking weed, doing burnouts in the back lot, and that I was about to get fired for it. But that wasn't even close to why everyone was looking at me. I didn't even get fired on the spot either. But another coworker then walks up directly to my face and asked me if I've seen a bag of snacks, specifically the one that I took. Instead of telling him that I was hungry and didn't have any food for myself, I decided to lie to him by saying that I had no idea what he was talking about, but then he gets mad. He tells me that the food I just lied to him about was his, and that once he found out he didn't have anything to eat at work the previous day, he actually went up to the boss about it and ended up finding the camera footage of me taking his lunch out of the fridge and eating it. He also flipped me off as he walked away too. Another coworker then walks up to me and talks to me about how I shouldn't be stealing anything from anyone and that it's not worth the tension at work. I immediately felt bad about the situation, and I still do now, kind of. I wish I was straight up with him at the time, but what the fuck do I know? It's not like I could have shown him shit for sympathy either. I fucking lied to him about it. But I could care less about what anybody has to think or say about it now. Shit was like 3-4 months ago. The next day at work, I was talking to the guy who told me not to steal, and I was going to have him buy me a couple packs of cigarettes because I was 18 and not 21. He was most definitely over 21. I had him get the cigs during his work break, and right when he gave it to me, the dude who I stole food from just straight up took one of my packs and flipped me off again. The guy who got my cigs told me to let it slide and let that teach me a lesson about stealing again. I was so tempted to just fight the bitch right then and there, but at the time I was still considering about keeping the job so I can move out of my parents' basement, so I let it slide. Another day at work, I was helping another coworker clean out a machine that takes in fiber and helps break down some other liquid we had for sale. As I opened the latch, I wasn't paying all of my attention to where the latch was going, and I ended up smashing my nose against it. Man, it was a bitch to get over the pain of a 20-pound latch being smashed on your face. I almost got whiplash and fell on my ass, too. I was surprised that nobody even saw it. After that, I went to my boss's office with a bloody nose and told him what happened. Right after that, he excused me from work and I went home. The very next day, I was running late and I didn't have time to pack my lunch from home, so instead I went to Taco Bell, ordered 3 Frito burritos, and ate them all in less than 5 minutes as I was going at least 85-90 on the freeway, knowing damn well the speed limit's like 60-65. About a couple hours into my shift, my stomach started feeling awful, and it actually got to the point where I had to sit down in the bathroom. Shortly after that, my stomach spikes and I fucking wretched. After that, I went to my boss again, and he was pretty upset about it. Basically, what he told me after I just threw up fast food is that he was relying on me so much to where if I even called in sick, it would hurt the business, and they would be put at risk for being out of business. It sucked too, because it was a Friday, and I was supposed to be up the next morning to work again, so I told him that I would promise to come in that morning to take care of work, and which I did. Felt like shit the whole time, physically and mentally, because I threw up off of food, and I was even putting my own income at risk. So I came in for my last shift. Within 10 minutes of clocking in, my boss calls my attention and tells me to leave with an attitude. He pulled back the recording of me slacking off and barely doing any work as I was not trying to fucking puke or get lightheaded damn near the whole time. I didn't try to defend myself, let alone barely saying anything. I basically just left for good, but here's the funny thing. On my way home, I get a random call from a lady from some job agency asking if I wanted to come in for an interview at Atlas Staffing. Remind you, I was unemployed for not even 10 minutes before I got that call, and I didn't even apply for shit. I also knew it was an actual interview set up for me because the lady knew my full name, address, and telephone number. I thought it was weird at first, but I would actually end up attending that interview and ditching that job for DoorDash. The end. The moral of this story is don't steal food from people, don't steal anything period, don't give your coworkers a bad sport, keep your job as long as possible so you don't have to live like a bum like me, don't do burnouts at work, don't do drugs, stay in school, get good grades, and keep watching my YouTube videos. That's going to conclude this video. Thank you to everyone that took the time to watch this video. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I'm really sorry that I don't upload as often. I've been going through a lot of stuff in my life, and it makes it really hard for me to focus and sit down behind a computer screen, let alone online school. But I'm gonna keep trying and pushing for more videos as much as I can because I know that you guys miss my voice and such, and it's really enjoyable for me to make YouTube videos. It's a good time killer. family too. But if y'all like this video, please give this video a like, subscribe if you're new to my content. Don't forget to click on the notification bell to be notified whenever I upload, because the YouTube notification system fucking sucks. Follow me on all of my social media. All of the links will be in the description below. Share this video to anybody that's ever gotten the middle finger for stealing some food, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace out. Salt.